Okay, in this lesson, we're going to do some simple flight plan concepts. If you're following along at home, we're using the Flying with the Avidyne IFD book written by Michael Bauer. I encourage you to check it out. What we're going to do is build a simple flight plan. We'll show you how easy it is to do that. In this particular scenario, Cessna 1234, you're cleared from the Chicago Executive Airport to Oshkosh Airport via the Badger VOR. Climb and maintain 4,000 squawk 1234. So we're at Chicago Executive and we want to go to Oshkosh. And so there's our clearance. So on the simulator, if you're playing along at home, you'd want to put in KPWK, Chicago Executive. If you were in the airplane, of course, when you start up in the morning, it's going to know that's where you're at and it'll start there. So here we are sitting on Chicago Executive. And again, our clearance is via the Badger VOR to Osh and to Oshkosh. What we want to do to build this flight plan, I'm going to use the FMS knob. You can use the enter button, but I like to use the FMS knob because it's, when you're hanging onto it and flying, it kind of makes it handy. You can enter a lot of complex flight plans just by using this one knob. So I'm going to push the button. I always get a menu that pops up and gives me all the options. In this case, I can enter a waypoint, or I can enter one of the published departures out of Chicago Exec. In this case, I want to do Badger VOR, so that's a waypoint. It nominates Northbrook, but I'm going to put Badger in, which is B-A-E-B-A, and with GeoFill, it nominates, so you rarely have to spell out an entire waypoint. Enter that, so there's Badger. Now we're going to go to Osh, O-S-H, so we're going to, again, enter another waypoint, but notice off of Badger, it gives us all the different options. I could either enter a waypoint, I could hold at Badger, I could orbit it around Badger, or there's a bunch of airways that intersect it, which we're going to talk about later. For now, let's enter Osh. And it nominates Oshkosh. It's smart enough, GeoFill. And now we're going to enter our airport, which is K-Osh. So we go waypoint again. It nominates Kosh, which it's smart enough to do, and enter. There we go. That gives us our basic flight plan there. If I activate the first leg, now I've activated the flight plan, I'm off and running. So our origin airport is in blue. Our active leg is always in magenta. Any other downwind legs are in gray, and then our destination is always in blue. You'll notice there's a scroll bar here that's blue. That shows how much of the flight plan you've got in view, in this case, pretty much all of it. And the little magenta block shows where the active waypoint is in relation to the rest of the flight plan. In this case, it's a short flight plan. It's pretty obvious, but if you had a really long flight plan and you were scrolled to the bottom, the active flight plan might be way up high. This would give you a view of an indication of where to find that. Now that we've got our flight plan, let's go to the map page. Here we're on the map plan view. We can see our flight plan heading north, and you can see our entire flight plan. As we zoom out, we can go to and actually see our destination at Oshkosh. There it is. Or I can pan up there like this. You can zoom in. So right now our map is in the north up mode. If I push this button, the FMS button, of course I panned. So when first time I push it, it centers me back up. If I push it again, it goes from north up to a forward view track up. If I push it again, it's a 360-degree view, track up. And if I push it again, it takes me back to north up. And there's the little north up indicator. If the north up indicator isn't there, it assumes you're in track up or you're in heading up. If you have a heading source coming in, then it would be heading up. Again, I can zoom in by pinching, or I can use the knob to zoom. And you saw that I can pan by touching, very responsive. You can see how the map can get kind of cluttered up. You can declutter the nav data by pushing the line select key, either the button or the touch. If I push the land button, I'll take away the terrain. I push it again, it'll take away the political boundaries, and that sort of thing. I hit it again, it'll take away the water. It'll have a black base map. And then back to the full screen. And then you also have a line select key for turning the weather way on and off. On the right side over here, we see this, what we call a side tab that says data. I can reach up and touch that, and look, I've got all my data blocks pertinent to this flight. I can just get to that by touching that side tab. And remember, anything you can do on touch, you can do with the knobs and buttons. So I can push and hold this rocker and it'll pop out. If I push and hold it again, it'll go back away. So I can do, if it's turbulent, tough for me to aim, if I'm bouncing around, I've got a nice button I can kind of mash onto and feel it click under my finger. But the data blocks are fully customizable. You can put them in any order. Here in this case, we've got our next waypoint. We've got our nearest airports always in view with a radial and distance. Here's our destination always in view. Our minimum safe altitude for this trip. Ground speed, track, a little CDI, all kinds of things. And you can rearrange these in any order you want. We'll cover that in a different video. There's also a couple data blocks that are editable that are across the top for Zulu time, in this case, and AGL altitude. These little icons show whether your Wi-Fi is working. We'll talk about that in a later video as well. And you can also customize these data blocks over here. So there's our video of how to enter a simple flight plan and review the data and take off and fly it.